Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's energy update. My name is Rebecca.meisl. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. This is when I take in the themes and the collective messages and energetics of the week ahead and channel any sort of important messages and themes that are important for us to know as a collective from my guides to you. So without further ado, let's dive in, my friends. We have a beautiful week ahead, so I'm really excited for our first theme here, which is all surrounding stepping into the beauty of your life. So I love this theme so much. We've had this really beautiful energy the past few weeks about really diving deeper into our joy and really expanding into that. What does that look like for you on that personal level? And what was really coming up this week is releasing any of the doubts and fears that are associated with that. Because a lot of times when we start leaning into our blessings, we start leaning into the beauty of life, doubt and fear can really raise their heads, where the practicalities come in, the ego mind comes in, where it's like, can this really happen for me? Can I really allow myself to just let go and be in this experience? And so what was really coming through is releasing that. All is happening for me. I attract every goodness, every good thing. So what was really coming through here is this week we have that beautiful 8-8. So as of Tuesday, tomorrow, we have that Lion Gates portal at its brightest. So with that, we're needing to practice our truly embody our power. So what was really coming through is this manifestation ability that all of us have, and really coming into the essence of that. We are a limitless being. So where are we still putting limits on that greatness, on our potential? Where are we allowing these doubts and fears to sneak in and sabotage the beauty of life and the beauty that could be our lives if we simply allowed ourselves to step into that? So what channeled was practice embodying your power. If I was fully in my power, what would I be doing? What would life look like? So coming from there, they really were suggesting narrow down your choices and decisions, and making those choices and decisions from a space of goodness and play, which was so interesting because a lot of times when we are making choices, we can really get caught up in the seriousness of it. You know, maybe a lot of us are moving into really big life changes, big life decisions. And a lot of times we can really get almost bogged down in this pressure that we put on ourselves to make the right decision, or fear of making a mistake or doing something wrong, right? And what was really coming through here is as we keep embodying our limitless power, and as we keep really practicing being in our power and changing these belief systems that something's going to go wrong, that we require protection when we in fact don't, we are fully ourselves that power, we're going to be making different choices. We're going to be making different decisions. And they're like, practice this, allow yourself to narrow down choices that are going to bring you the most expansion, that are going to give you the most joy, and that give you that vibration of joy, right? So once again, they're like, don't get hung up on the practicalities this week. They're really wanting you to lean into this whimsical dreamer energy. And like, yes, we don't want to be so ridiculous that we're making these decisions without considering the logic, but they're saying take a step out of the logic for once and really go into that space. What would that look like if I was fully embodying my power? If I believed everything could happen for my highest good? And making space for goodness, for play in that, right? So allow yourself this week to continue to drop into those energies. Continue to fill your energy body with goodness, with fun, and really keep prioritizing that, because when we're in that space, we're going to be really in alignment with our highest being, right? We're going to be in alignment with those higher energies, those higher frequencies. We're not going to be doubting ourselves. We're going to be in joy. So when we make decisions from that space, we're going to truly make ones that are, once again, in alignment with that energy. So with that, they wanted to bring in our time management. So where we need to reconsider our commitments, where we need to realign things in our schedule, and where we need to have proper priorities and where we're focusing that time and attention. So what channeled was, where do you spend the majority of your time? Where do you want to direct it? And where do you want to direct your energies? So when we're in this big week of manifestation and in this Lion Gates portal, it's only intensifying this need, right? We need to be aware of how we're spending our time, because we're going to attract who we are, not necessarily what we wish we were. So this is where we can get really confused when it comes to manifestation. A lot of times we think it's, well, if I say things enough, if I, think that I'm going to get there in the future, if I keep putting it off in that mindset, well, then it's always going to be in the future. We need to recognize that the life we want to manifest is only going to be magnified by our actions today, by how we're living now, with what our beliefs are about our lives now and what is truly possible for us. So that is why this theme has been really surfacing for us. We need to get clear. We need to get very honest with ourselves and sometimes go into those shadow parts of ourselves that are still denying goodness, that are still denying that we could live a good and fulfilling life, and perhaps that we deserve that. Right? So really be mindful, where is that coming up for you? And really take a good look at how you're managing your time. So with that, where is it? Where does your time mainly go? And is it directed to things you really want it to go to? So be mindful about balancing your time. They were just showing me like a schedule, getting a proper schedule together where it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to dedicate time to this. This is where I'm going to prioritize this. And then really be mindful, once again, where am I making space for my joy? So they're really bringing in the energies here of like, where does your joy fall in your schedule? Where do things you actually love to do fall in your schedule? Are they always at the last part of your day? Are they always prioritized last? Is your self-care on there? Really making sure that we're getting a broader perspective of our priorities and what those are, as opposed to just our basic needs, because they're really showing us how we've been so focused on the root chakra and that energy of stability, work, family, prioritizing those obligations, and forgetting about the sacral chakra, forgetting about all the other chakras. We have such a huge focus on the root chakra in today's society, and we need to start shifting that awareness and going, well, what about everything else? What about all the other energies that make me me? Am I prioritizing that? Am I prioritizing my empowerment? Am I prioritizing my confidence, my joy, my pleasure? Am I prioritizing love? Am I prioritizing my intuition and my spirituality? Am I prioritizing my belief systems and how I view and connect with this world and other worlds, the universe itself, right? So that's hitting every single chakra in that. So we need to be mindful. Am I addressing my life through one lens, or am I allowing myself the awareness to prioritize all that makes me, all the energies of me, and making sure that I'm bringing this balance and harmonization in? So that moves into this next theme of balancing and harmonizing, which is so beautiful. So where are we prioritizing our rest? Where are we with our productivity, right? So they're really bringing in this energy of how can we balance? How can we have more peace? How can we find this beautiful, intricate dance and really harmonize these energies of the divine masculine and the divine feminine? So they're showing me this is going to be that practice, right? So once again, Practicing makes perfect. So allow yourself time to really sort this out. What brings me balance? What allows me to have a flexible schedule where I'm still able to be in my divine feminine energies and not all in the productivity and all in the doer of the masculine, right? So what channeled was building and putting into practice your dream life. So I love this. Releasing doubts that it could happen for you. Detaching from the beliefs and limits of your past. You are not there anymore. A new chapter has begun. You can feel it. Prioritize joy. Don't put it at the bottom of your list. Making those choices from that space. So I love that. So with this is where we need the balance. Where are we putting that joy? Where are we prioritizing productivity? What we think we should do as opposed to what we know we need. So finding that intricate balance is really going to be something we need to practice this week. And I love how they really brought in this energy of detaching from those limits, right? So once again, we might be really dismissing things like, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. That's one of the biggest things that we as human beings tend to say when there's something we want to do, but we feel restricted and we can't. And let's face it, we all have very busy lives these days, but it's all about what we're prioritizing. So once again, where are you prioritizing things that you really don't want to prioritize? Sometimes we can catch ourselves in our daily lives where I've even caught myself where I'm like, do I really need to be doing this right now? Or could I actually be resting? Or should I actually be doing something that I really want to do? And as soon as we find that energy where we're like, oh, okay, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, we need to start recognizing that we need to shift things. We need to change things. That is that awareness coming in by your soul going, hey, what can we do to make this more enjoyable? Or what can we do to make sure our joy and our cup is full as we move through this life? So really be aware of that and coming to the awareness that things do not have to look the way we thought they did or need to look. So once again, they're bringing in this energy of the past, right? Where it's like, okay, maybe in the past, we really did do things a certain way. Maybe we lived fully in our masculine energy. And now this is really tough for us to retrain ourselves and learn how to slow down and learn how to be at peace and just be, and that be enough, right? So once again, we need the patience with ourselves. We need to be able to come to this recognition that we no longer need to live life the way we did. So they're giving me this example of someone who's started to slow down. They've been making those changes. Maybe they've quit their job. Maybe they're leaning into something totally new. They're just kind of showing me this like in-between state where they're not overly busy right now. Maybe you're even on vacation and this is kind of dropping in where you're restless and you're like, shouldn't I be doing something? And we need to have that awareness that maybe the way we've been living life isn't the way we're meant to be living life. And coming to that recognition that it's okay for me to give myself permission now to enjoy myself, to really be in my human experience and prioritize things that really do give me satisfaction and fulfillment. So we're detaching from the belief systems and the programs that said we can't, that we don't have time, that we shouldn't, that we need to be doing something else. And we're flipping the script, right? So we are building this new life for ourselves and we're putting into practice our dream life. And I love this because so many of us need to have that understanding. Once again, what we are doing right now is manifesting our future. So if you want a future of peace, of love, of acceptance, of the present moment, then are you actually doing that currently? And how often do you give yourself that gift of peace, that gift of slow down, that gift of the present, right? So put these things into practice. So once again, you don't have to be perfect at this, but put it into practice. Prioritize the things that you want to be doing, because if we don't, then we're not going to be able to properly manifest it to the full extent and degree that we want to. So prioritize your joy. Don't put it on the bottom of your list. Okay? So next we have this theme of making aligned decisions. So coming from a grounded and energetically stable place, deepening and cultivating self-trust. So this was so beautiful because we're really learning how to trust ourselves this week and our intuition. You know, a lot of times when we're in this space of in between where we're manifesting or we're trying to make these shifts, but we're not seeing the external realities come into form just yet, it can almost be a bit of that test, right? That little bit of that test where it's like, okay, I know I'm doing everything on my part to create a beautiful life and experience for myself, but the energies haven't manifested externally just yet. So with that, we need to have that awareness that we're in a bit of this testing part of trust. So how much can we trust ourselves? How much can we trust the universe? How much can we start really leaning into our own inner compass? And what's so beautiful is right now, that's what I'm seeing a lot of us are learning. We're learning how to deepen that self-trust. We're learning how to deepen the trust we have with the divine and that plan for our lives. And with that, we need to keep reminding ourselves of that. So this week we might have triggers coming in where it's just like, maybe we feel that lack energy where we're like, man, I'm doing everything and it's still not here, right? We can have that. We're humans. So we can have that energy of like, why aren't things coming? Why am I stuck? Why do I feel like I'm just in this energy? And they're like, remove this thought process because it's not serving you. How can you start recognizing that you are always exactly where you need to be and everything is coming to you in divine timing? We just need to trust. So right now we're really in this energy of expansion. And with this, the more we lean into trust, the more we drop into the surrender aspect, the more we're actually getting upgraded energetically. And this was so cool because I'm seeing this expansion coming in with this trust. So the more we lean into our intuition, the more we're going to hone it, the more our intuition is going to be coming to the forefront. We're going to be able to really rely on it. So we're getting energetic upgrades this week. We're getting more enlightenment this week. We're seeing an increase in our psychic abilities this week for a lot of us. The more we trust and the more we step further into our own gifts and expansion. So following this, we have this recognition of how far we've come and what we know to be true. So I love this because they're like, use your past of almost like this inspiration for yourself and recognizing that every time you've trusted your intuition, how that's gotten you so far, right? So they're like, if you need to, drop back into that remembrance and go, okay, every time I did trust, I was still okay. How can I gather that trust that I am safe, even if I'm in this in-between space? So what do you know to be true? This was so cool. So what channeled was, if you could allow yourself to get out of your head and into your heart, what inner truth would you find? And what was so cool was they're giving me this energy and feeling of stability, of sureness, of confidence, and simplicity. Okay, so whenever we go into our intuition, those answers are going to come through in that way. It's going to feel confident. It's going to feel sure. It's going to be simple and direct, right? So whenever we drop into that intuition, we get that reminder of like, oh yeah, right. If I just allowed myself to stop the programs that my mind likes to run, if I allowed myself to drop out of the program of the 3D experience and went into my heart space and went into my intuition, those answers are going to be there. And those answers are going to affirm that you are safe, regardless of the external circumstance, regardless of the outward indicators. So it was really beautiful how they're really helping us with this week, and to trust what we know. Okay, this was so vital. Trust what you know. So once again, they're giving me this example of like this dream. So say you have a dream of, you know, having a new home or starting a new career, you know, something like that. And you've had this desire for a long time, and it's been there, and you've been slowly working at it and cultivating it. But right now, the external circumstances are like, well, that's ridiculous. You should not be doing that right now. Have you seen the outer state of the world? Have you seen the, you know, the real estate? Or have you seen the success rate of this career? You know, have you seen all the competition? The stories go on, right? But once again, that's very much the external world. That's that external 3D viewprint, right? Or viewpoint. And what they're really bringing in is like, but if you were to remove yourself from that and go into your heart and really feel into your dream and into this inner knowing, what would it say? And what I'm getting for a lot of you, it's like your intuition is like, well, I'm guiding you towards this for a reason. Right? So once again, how often do we allow those stories of the 3D to sabotage what we already know to be true in our hearts? And when do we let ourselves really trust that? Okay, so can we trust this week? Can we really trust ourselves? Trust that inner calling of where we're being led, regardless of what our heads, the logic, and the external evidence says, okay? So we're really learning this, and we need to have this awareness this week. So from there, we have a theme of reconnection and bliss. So this was so beautiful. So what I was really seeing was almost like family, community, okay? This is what I was really feeling in heart connection. So what channeled was allowing time to close out the world around you and build connections, love, and joy, revealing all of you with the people you trust, opening up your soul and filling it with all the goodness it can hold, allowing space for growth and releasing the old stories that you are alone. We are building a strong network around you. See this new foundation of love grow. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Surrender to the moment. See the blessings that are pouring into your life. You are ready to birth something new. So this was so beautiful and really was such a good reminder, because a lot of times when we come into our spiritual calling and our spiritual awakening, we can have this experience of feeling alone, of feeling like we're different, that we don't connect, we don't fit in anywhere. But what was so beautiful is this week, I was seeing so much of this heart connection where we're rebuilding these connections with other people. And we're needing to prioritize that as well. So this week, allow time to be with those connections that really build you up, that make you feel loved, and give yourself permission to reveal yourself. Because I was seeing a lot of us having trouble with this in the heart space. So some of us might be feeling hesitant. We might be feeling hurt still from those wounds of the past of not being accepted. But this is shifting, this is changing, and I feel like so many of us have been really leaning into that. We've been meeting new people, we've been making new connections, and in this safe space, we need to allow ourselves to fully be free. We need to stop editing ourselves. We need to stop the pretense. We need to be honest about who we are and authentic and come from that space. So open up your soul and allow that to happen this week and fill it with all the goodness. I love how that really channeled. Fill it with all the goodness it can hold, okay? Release those stories that you're not supported. Release the stories that say you're alone. allow yourself to start building these new foundations and really allowing yourself to live in love, okay? What would happen if you just let yourself let go, surrender to love, and really let people see you, okay? So many blessings coming in this week. So a secondary message to this theme was recognizing with receiving goodness, old programs may be triggered. So with this is really interesting. So a lot of times when we start receiving good, those old programs of unworthiness can come in. Those old programs of, once again, the stories, I'm alone, how can I receive this friendship? Or all of these little stories come in. And what was really coming in is these things are coming forward to be freed and healed. Okay, so what channeled here was they're coming forward to be freed, healed, that have previously been ignored. So release them freely and let them go with joy. You no longer need to listen to their tale of woe. You are elevating to a new space now, a new vibration where they cannot follow. Allow for this detoxification to occur. Okay, so what was so beautiful was this awareness coming in of all the healing of the heart that we are currently doing. And what was so beautiful is they're like, get used to it. Get used to living life in joy. Get used to living life in compassion, in love, in happiness. It's not going anywhere. Readjust to your new life of bliss. And this was so beautiful because, once again, when we start receiving goodness, we can also have that fear of losing it and not having it and being like, oh, good things, nothing lasts forever. All that kind of story can come in. And it's like, once again, they're like, it's all down to our ability to believe and our willingness to receive. So this week, practice receiving, practice believing that this chapter will be different for you, that this new life that you are creating is going to continue on. The happiness, the joy, the bliss is going to always follow you, is always going to be there. And we need to just allow ourselves to focus on those blessings, okay? Recognizing we are never lacking anything. The universe is always our source for every good thing. We just need to open ourselves to that. So allow your vibrations to rise. Allow yourself to detox these old programs that say you don't deserve, that you can't receive, that good relationships aren't there for you. They are. We just have to allow them in. So what really kept coming through was stop worrying. Everything is going perfectly. Trust the process. Ground yourself. Allow yourself to be supported and know that the universe has got your back every single step of the way. So my friends, that's all I have for us this week. What a beautiful reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know below. I love hearing from you. I also want to make it aware that a lot of new sessions have been opened up. So if you're looking for booking with me, please definitely do that. I've been trying to open up some new days that I can book. So if you would like a session, I'm doing Karuna Reiki, I'm doing deep healing sessions, I'm doing card readings, anything that you really feel called to, I have those offerings available. So if you feel called to me, please reach out. I would love to connect further. Wishing you all a beautiful and blessed week ahead, my friends. Bye.